Now, we may have just witnessed the greatest SummerSlam in history. I mean, it was an incredible show, probably the best show I've seen all year, bar maybe WrestleMania, or maybe on par with WrestleMania. I don't know, but I'm just going to go through the whole card and give you my thoughts. So Ricochet vs. Logan opened up the show. There were a lot of cool spots in the match like we expected, like the double Spanish fly where they both kind of landed on their feet and then just did another one on the outside of the ring. They stole a lot of Legends moves, People's Moonsault, and more. But other than just the spots, I mean, it wasn't just a spot fest. Like, there was some good psychology with Logan in the beginning, just destroying Ricochet. I'm so happy Ricochet pulled out the 630. He never does it anymore, and I'm scared that it was going to go extinct, but he finally pulled it out. He didn't hit it, though. And I like the finish, because it protects Logan Paul, makes people hate him more. It protects Ricochet, and I hope Ricochet can keep this push going. He got a big pay-per-view match for the first time in a while, and I hope he keeps getting big matches. He's just such a good wrestler. Next match was actually Cody versus Brock, which surprised me. I thought this would be one of the last couple matches, but then I saw it and I kind of understood. I didn't love it. Very little pyro for Cody on the entrance, which kind of made me laugh, because I'm used to it being a lot. And then something else that made me laugh is Brock Lesnar's shorts. About halfway through the match, at the end you could really tell, but there was a gaping hole. That was funny, but it was all countouts. It felt like half the match Cody was just on the ground getting counted out. But the F5 through the announce table, the F5 on the outside, everything, it looked brutal. It was cool. One thing I want to talk about though, Cody hit Brock with the steel steps. Why is that allowed? It's not a no DQ match, and nobody talked about that. He just smacked him with the steps, and that's perfectly fine. But I liked Michael Cole begging Cody Rhodes to not get up, just to stay down, but that's not what Cody's all about. Cody locked into Kimura. That was fun. That makes sense. Calls back to their last match they had, where Brock broke his arm. And I feel like Cody should have had to pull out a special move, like a vertebreaker or maybe like a tiger driver to beat Brock. But, I mean, I guess 3 crossroads is enough. Handshake after the match, face Brock coming, and that makes me excited because Cowboy Brock Lesnar is the best version of Brock Lesnar. The Battle Royal was next. I'm glad Omos was added because I actually really like Omos. I know a lot of people don't like Omos, but I'm a big fan. I think he could be something big one day. Good showings for other guys I liked, like Chad Gable, Tommaso Ciampa, Grayson Waller, all did well, and that's good. I like them. I'm glad they got to be on the card. I want to talk about Ludwig Kaiser. He's just so good. He didn't do even that much, but just everything he does looks so good. And I could see him being eventually, people getting behind him, being like a Chad Gable type, where he never gets pushed, but everyone wants to see it. And if Imperium ever breaks up, I hope that he has some success, because I think he's a great wrestler. I really wish Chad Gable hit the German suplex on Bronson Reed. He almost got him up. I think he could have, and that would have been huge, but it was not meant to be. The superplex that LA Knight hit on Sheamus tonight, they messed it up on SmackDown, and that kind of made me realize maybe they messed it up on purpose because they both fell over the top rope to the outside. If that happened tonight, the match would have been over, but they hit it tonight, and that makes me think that it probably wasn't on purpose because that's dangerous, but part of me thinks it might have been. And then LA Knight won, obviously, we all expected that, and just the right decision. The next match was probably the only bad match on the card. I didn't love it, the MMA Rules match. I think it would have been better if it was just a normal wrestling match. The only thing I really have to say about it is that I'm glad Shayna won. I mean, she needed the win, and Ronda's probably gone. And Shayna Baszler can be taken seriously now. I think she might even be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley. Not anytime soon, but maybe eventually. Next was maybe the best match of the night. Oh, main event, but other than the main event, the Intercontinental Championship match, just so physical, like we knew it would be. And these are the types of matches that I love the most. And Drew McIntyre, I didn't realize how much I missed him while he was gone, but he's just so incredible. The chop battle they had towards the end, where they were just both chopping each other over and over. Chest looked like raw meat afterwards. And I don't know if Gunther should ever lose the Intercontinental Championship. Drew definitely shouldn't have won tonight. If he is going to win it, it should be after they re-sign him, because he's not even signed to, he hasn't even extended his contract yet, so he could be gone. But I don't know if Gunther should ever lose it. Definitely should break the record, and then if he ever does lose it, he needs to win the World Championship like very soon after while he's still on top, because he's just so incredible, and he puts on a good match every time he's in the ring. What's next? The next match was the World Heavyweight Championship match, wasn't it? Yeah. I liked a lot of the little details they called back to. The 7 painted on Balor's shoulder that got injured. The jacket Seth was wearing. Balor attacking Seth's shoulder throughout the beginning of the match, because that's what Seth injured on him. The buckle bomb into the barricade by Finn Balor, all call back to their last SummerSlam match 7 years ago. It's crazy. But Balor dominated in the beginning. I'm glad Seth got back in. I was worried he might have just destroyed him. But I really thought Balor was going to win. That just didn't happen. However, Finn Balor did kick out of the stomp, and that, I don't see people kicking out of the stomp a lot. I mean, Omos did it at Backlash, but I don't know, he kicked out, and that surprised me. I really thought that it was over then. Dirty Dom took a brutal stomp on the outside. That was scary. He sold that one. It was crazy. And then Seth kicked out of that coup de grace after the Judgment Day interference. I really thought that was the end of the match. And he still kicked out somehow, and then the ending, Damian Priest sliding the briefcase in, only for Seth to stomp Finn Balor into it. And that kind of makes me think, like, maybe, just maybe, Edge might have something to say about that. Edge isn't even on Raw, but isn't that the exact same thing Seth did to Edge, or almost did to Edge all those years ago when Edge was still out injured? Yeah, I don't know, but Damian looked mad after the match. It makes me think, like, maybe, yeah, I mean, they acted like it was an accident, but maybe it wasn't for Damian Priest, and maybe that's leading somewhere. And I wish Finn won, but also, I wish that if he ever does win a world title, that he does it by himself. He doesn't need interference and help. If Finn does win a world title, I want him to do it alone. Next match was the women's triple threat match. And this match was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I knew it would be good, but it was really good. The only thing at the beginning that bothered me is Asuka didn't come out last. They saved Bianca for last. But I guess that's just a small detail. But I haven't cared or paid attention to Charlotte Flair matches in a long time. I've realized I kind of just skip past them or like do something else while they're on, so I don't really have to pay attention. This is the first time I've really watched her wrestle in a long time, and I don't remember her being this good. She was really good. The double natural selection was cool. The double handspring moonsaults, there were two of them. First countered, second one connected. I like the double spots. Charlotte's spears looked absolutely brutal. I mean, it helped that Bianca and Asuka were taking them, and they're two of the best, but I remember her spears used to look so bad, and now these ones just looked incredible. I thought Bianca was hurt for real when she got launched to the outside, but I guess she was okay because she came back and hit that 450. That was crazy. Charlotte bridged up and smashed down. That was crazy. And I thought she was gonna win with the figure eight on Bianca, but Bianca won with a roll up, and that was crazy. But as soon as Bianca did win, I knew Iyo was cashing in because Bianca just had the title. She doesn't need it again. And Iyo Sky cashes in, wins the title, big moment, and she'll be great. She's a great wrestler, so. And that brings us to the final match, the main event. Tribal Combat. The psychology was great. Roman is just a master at working over the crowd. But a lot of crazy things happened. Those kendo stick shots looked brutal. And then Jey Uso did a tope over the top, but he did a front flip with it, like a tope con hilo, instead of just landing a splash like he normally does, and that was crazy. I like him pulling out the big guns for his SummerSlam main event. The catch Superman punch on the Uso splash was nice. Didn't see that coming. But Jay's selling throughout the entire match, which is so good, and Roman Reigns is master of 2.99 kickouts. A lot of crazy table spots in this one. The Samoan drop from the apron to the outside. I thought it was a spear. I thought it was going to be a spear. But the Samoan drop was crazy too. The spinning solo in the crowd. The splash. Jay getting revenge for Jimmy. I don't want to talk about that, but I'm going to. The finish was cool with the spear through it. We've seen it before, but it was still good. But for a moment there, Jey Uso was just spearing anything that moved. Spearing Reigns through the barricade. Spearing him again in the ring. The counter on the spike spear combo, I kind of knew it was coming, but it was still cool. But Jay got revenge for Jimmy, and then Jimmy comes in. Jey Uso, I thought he had no chance, but I really believed that in the end, Jay was actually going to win it. Who was going to stop him? And then Jimmy. That was crazy. I mean, Jimmy in the all black, and I knew it was him as soon as it was, because who else is it going to be? WWE's not going to sign anyone like any of the other Fatus just yet. I don't think that any of them are ready. And it wasn't big enough to be Rikishi, so who else was it going to be? But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I've never expected the Usos to get broken up. They just seem like a forever team for me. And I think they'll be back together eventually, but a match between Jay and Jimmy sounds fire, so I guess we'll see where that goes. But also, what's next for Reigns? I mean, he's probably losing the title to Cody at WrestleMania, right? Maybe Seth? I don't know. I could see Seth beating him. Maybe Gunther after he finally loses the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know, but SummerSlam was crazy. Loved it. and just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.